So
Sounds
as you
good.
were sitting there watching the national championship game, Georgia, Alabama, from an Ohio State perspective, what do you think was going through Ryan Day's mind?
I got to get there. It reminded me a lot of the 2012 season where we finished undefeated and couldn't go to a bowl game, and Urban Meyer went down to the national championship game and watched Alabama just dismantle Notre Dame. And it's invigorating where you sit there and you're watching what you want your program to be live in front of your eyes, right? You're watching defense the way defense is meant to be played, and it was really goals for him and his offseason moves and his future moving forward on the defensive side of the ball. And I think also a little bit of regret that he might have made some mistakes in hires or it just didn't work out the way he thought, because he had the offense to win a national championship. He just didn't have the defense. And so watching what Georgia built on defense, what Kirby Smart did, over the last 3 years to kind of piece by piece put that defense together, I think a little bit of regret that Ryan didn't make the similar moves to try to make that happen.
Zach, I didn't expect to keep us back in 2012, but I got to ask you this. The decision by Gene Smith to take a bowl invite in 2011, when it's the Gator Bowl, you're Ohio State, it's the Gator Bowl, you're 6-6, best you can do 7-6. What is that profiting you, benefiting you versus who knows what's going to be accomplished next year with Urban Meyer, who, by the way, has won 2 national championships?
Yeah, it was obviously hindsight's 2020, so it's easy to say it was a huge mistake, but I don't know how foresight was not 2020 when you're 6-6. What does that Gator Bowl get you? Not to mention they got beat by Florida. So it just
you have to go 6-6 the next year to reach a bowl game?
Right. I mean, it's wild. And why not offer that serving up to the NCAA as some kind of peace agreement, and in hopes that, Urban Meyer goes to a better bowl game. I mean, no one could have predicted we would flip that team to a 12-0 undefeated team. And honestly, as we were going through it, it was shocking that the streak continued, because we weren't an undefeated team, but we would have beat Notre Dame and we would have won a national championship. That would have happened. And so just unfortunate, I guess, that he made that decision, but it was definitely a mistake.
Zach, you're going to be the victim here of me wanting to delve into a lot of things like that and keep us back there in 2012 and in that time frame, because there's just so many things that are so intriguing. So I'm only going to keep you back there for a few more minutes.
All right.
That 2012 team, I think anybody that knows football to any degree knows that, barely getting by Central Florida and UAB and the likes, but knows that the team did develop and was getting better down the stretch. And I always found it to be intriguing, the comment that Urban Meyer made after the Michigan game, because he had downplayed the team's accomplishments before that, but it was all said and done there. There was nothing else to play for. So I still remember him being pulled aside and it being presented to him that you've said all year, Coach, that this was a good team, but not a great team. And he was like, no. This is a great team.
Yeah,
this is an all-time Ohio State team. We're undefeated, because, of course, he had nothing to lose at that point. He might as well sell them as an all-time great team.
I remember that's the psychology in him, right? Master of psychology is Urban Meyer's real title. You can call him a great head football coach, a great football coach, a great offensive mind, whatever you want to call him. He's really a master of psychology. And I remember being on staff, all of us felt the same way. After the Michigan game, we went into the locker room and he came in, and all year it was brutal. It was brutal to work for him. Every position group was awful, except for Braxton Miller. And every coach was awful and didn't belong at Ohio State. And then after that game, he walks in the locker room and it's just like, you could see he was elated. And he sat there and he was like, wow, you guys did an unbelievable job this year. And he looked at me and he was like, what you did, Philly Brown, Devin Smith, wow. And I'm sitting here like eyes open, like, is this really happening? This is the guy that has told me I was worthless for 11 months, and now he's acting like we just had a great season and it was successful. So it wasn't just to the media. I'll tell you that much. It was to the coaches, the players. All of a sudden, it was like we accomplished something, and I think that we use that for momentum into the next season to improve even more.
2013 happened, the loss to Michigan State. That was, again, a good team, a really talented team, but the defense had its issues. We go into 2014, that's magical. 2015, was that Michigan State game kind of the the watershed game in regards to that's the one that really got away. That team was so loaded, so talented, and when motivated, of course, blew out Michigan and Notre Dame. And they really should have played Alabama that year. That would have just been a titanic battle.
Yeah, it would have been awesome for that rematch to happen. And it's unfortunate. I think nowadays that team gets in because of how the committee has, everything's a moving goalpost. They change the standards to get in the playoffs every year, and kind of their mentality on how they put teams in. But yeah, that's probably one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. And I think it was really just a culmination. It was something that everyone was every week nervous could happen, because the offensive staff was completely disjointed. It wasn't operating at a high level like when Tom Herman was running it. And so it was something that everyone was nervous about. But literally, I used to walk into work every day and say, this is amazing. This team is so talented that we're going to win despite not having an offensive staff that is, at the standard of Ohio State. They were so good that it didn't matter. And in that game, because JT couldn't throw it great in the rain, it mattered. And we lost the game. And because of that, it robbed, the Ezekiel Elliott's and Michael Thomas's and those great players a chance to try to go back to back and get that and win that rematch against Alabama.
I don't know what it felt like on the sideline, but it was one of those games that was so slow and methodical that even at the 4-minute mark, I was sitting there thinking they almost can't win this game because they're backed up. They're not moving the ball. They're going to punt. Michigan State's only going to need about 1 first down, and they're going to kick the game winner. Yep. And you could see it play out.
Yeah, it was just offensive ineptitude. Not only did JT struggle throwing the ball, we came out the second half and just made a decision. We weren't even going to try. We weren't even going to try to throw it because he had made a couple errant throws. And at the cost of what I said afterwards on Sunday, like, yeah, I get it. He couldn't throw. He wasn't very accurate. Couldn't throw the ball well, whatever you want to say that day, but we're going to lose the game if we don't. And so we made the decision to try to just grind it out, run the quarterback, and hopefully sneak out of there with a win. And we kind of puckered up offensively play calling. And the drive you're talking about is a perfect example. I mean, we didn't even try. I mean, we were calling plays that we thought could get some yards, obviously, but there was no taking advantage of weaknesses of their defense. It was more just, we got to will our way to a first down to win this game. And obviously we didn't.